I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do. This guy says...
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Saturday program at Hastings. Should be a lot of fun. We have 7 races, 8 on the Sunday. We got 15 more live races, and which should be a decent weekend. I know they're calling for a little bit more cloudy skies, but I think the weather's going to be fine.
Yeah, they were saying that more for today as of taping. This is Thursday and Friday, so hopefully we get another beautiful weekend. We have no complaints about the weather so far at Hastings. It's been beautiful, and some good races carded this weekend. Let's jump right into it. Actually, the first one, Fillies and Mares, 16,000, non-2, non-3 BC bred. I went to the lightly raced 5 in here, Flare Miss.
Right.
Broke her maiden stylishly out first time, beat Blended by 3. Then came back, that was she kind of got thrown to the wolves there. Went in against Sabrina.
Open
Hidden
25s
Harbor.
are tough.
Hey, did you notice? That's a dirty, tough race for the second start of your life. Now she drops in for a conditional race. Mike Anderson is making all the right moves right now. She's a birdstone. I really like her breeding. She was purchased for $30,000 and looks like, that's a, dropping in her for 16, breaking her maiden for 25. This is the place to go with her.
Right.
It's not an overly aggressive move. I think it's, they're not got their head in the sky trying to run her higher. I think 16 hits her right on the head. Pedro Alvarado gets back aboard. He was aboard for her maiden score, and I like Fire Beauty. If anybody's going to beat her, I think it's the one Fire Beauty. She looks very tough. She got beat by Attack'em April, who was on a roll when she ran for 16-2 back. Then she went up to the 25.
She ran in that same
race, that Sabrina race. Now she's back in her condition. She's the main threat. I think it's between those two. And for third, I put in Catalina because she always seems to hit the board. Very much a bridesmaid with 2 wins, but 10 seconds in her lifetime. I got her in third. I went 5, 1, and 4.
Yeah, I agree with the top 2. I'm going to switch them up. I'm going to go Fire Beauty on top. I think hopefully she can show a little bit more gate speed and get out there and in play and maybe even be on the lead in this race. Charming Silver is kind of an interesting one that throws a little more pace presence to the race, which I don't know if she's going to win the race, but she could definitely affect who does win the race.
Yeah.
And Fire Beauty might get the nice box seat, maybe behind Charming Silver and Flare Miss, and if it works out that way. I agree. There's not much between the 1 and the 5.
I like the fact that Flare Miss is on the outside, though, so if Charming Silver goes, it gives Pedro the option to sit off.
And that's another important point. Pedro's back aboard. The winning pilot jumps back in the saddle. That's always, you want to pay attention to those horse and rider combos that are successful together. But I went 1, 5, and I put in SL. I was like you. I didn't know who to put in for third. I think 1 and 5 are here, and then the rest of the field are down here.
Yeah, I think so.
And I went 1, 5, and 2 in the Saturday opener. On to the second race, $12,000 older horses going a mile and a 16th. Got a field of 6 signed on. I had a lot of trouble with this race. I really didn't know what to do. I ended up on the 3 Street map. A horse that closed up well to be third in a paceless race, sprinting. His best races last year were going long. He ran against some pretty good horses, I thought. He exited some pretty good heats, and I just think he might be worth following in this race. I see a good pace with the 4, honestly, Ossifer, and the 5, Leo's in the house. I don't expect it to be as crazy as it was last time, but I expect the pace to be honest, and Street Map maybe to be able to capitalize. I put the 1, Ganbei, in the second spot. The horse doesn't win as often as he used to, but we'll see if Ganbei can get back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, he seems like one that's sitting on a...
Just a cool horse. He ran second. Uncle Willard's a nice horse on the improve, and he's one you'll see probably rise up the claiming ladder, Uncle Willard. So there's no disgrace in losing to him by a pile of lengths last time. But I put Ganbei in for second, and I put on Big Trouble for third. He probably should have beat Talket's Charm last time, but those two are inseparable. Talket's Charm and Big Trouble, they're both close to me, and I didn't know which, but I do like Street Map. I just think they're a little bit better horses. I went 3, 1, and 2, and I left Talket's Charm off. I left Leo's in the house. Back-to-back wins. It's a tough race.
Yeah, don't worry. I covered those ones. I put Talket's Charm on top. I thought he didn't have a whole lot of pace to run last time. They went the first quarter in 24-1, then 47. It was also his first start of the year and going long. I thought it was an impressive run to get up and win that race, even though it was only 8,000. This is a logical step forward to go for 12-5, and as you mentioned, I think there will be some pace in here with Leo's in the house and honestly Ossifer. And if the pace starts to fall apart, he's kind of an all-or-nothing guy. Last year he had 10 starts.
I think I picked him
wins.
second. That's the dumbest thing I've done maybe all year. I'm sure I've done some dumb things, but I picked him second or something last time. He never runs second. He's got like a million wins, no seconds, no thirds.
I had him in the second spot. No, he's either going to win or he's not. I like the fact that Hamill sticks with him.
Yeah.
I put him on top. Leo's in the house, is on a roll right now. I put him in the second spot. He could get caught up in a pace duel with, honestly, Ossifer, but I like the move to Reyes since Jim Brown claimed him. He puts Antonio Reyes on him, and he's the kind of now horse, right?
He might route.
Two nice wins. He's only got one route in his life. That was the second, but it was a long time ago. It doesn't even show up on his current form. But guaranteed that was for more money. That would have been back when Troy Taylor trained him, and that would have been for a higher amount. So I put him in second, and I put Gamby, the horse you mentioned, in third. Just a cool little guy. Another one. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him win it. There's a lot of horses.
And just because there's 6 horses in the race doesn't make it an easy race to handicap. No. And this is a true
this would be an all button for me.
It's a tough race. Whatever race, I wish you could make your bet kind of after the opening 16th of a mile to see how the race is going to set up
exactly.
and how the dynamics of the race are going to go.
Front.
But handicapping, I think there's going to be a pace, but maybe there won't be. Who knows? We'll see.
But I went 6-5-1 in a confusing second race. On the third, Fillies and Mares, non-winners of 2, lifetime for 4,000, 6.5 furlongs. I went to the 6, Queen Militant. She's been running good this year, but running very tough spots. She ran against I'm a Diva 2 and Catalia in a 16 non-2, non-3. Then went to the 8,000 level, ran into Bamboo Dream and Charming Silver, who we see jump up. Now she drops in for 4. I think she's the horse to beat. Interesting to see what kind of trip Sahin Savici will work out. I put Notice Then. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the 2. Got my numbers mixed up. I put Cassidy Command in the second spot of the Phil Hall barn. I thought a very good second behind Moonride. And Moonride, when dropped this level, I thought that was an impressive race by Moonride. No disgrace getting beat a length and a half by her. And, I think Phil Hall's doing well right now, and I think Cassidy Command. I like to switch to Keyshawn Naval Gobin. He's been hot lately. Got him in the second spot. And I put Cape Away. Broker Maiden first out this year. Then went to the non-2, first time she was in that Cassidy Command Moonride race. But it's always tough your first time against winners. And they put blinkers on her, and Richard Hamill takes over again. So I think that's a bonus for Cape Away. I went 6, 4, and 7.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. I agree. Queen Militant is your horse to beat. There should be a pace in here. You got Notice Zen, Malacca shows speed, Cassidy Command, even though they are the 2 and 4, you must remember, are both Phil Hall horses. So you're not going to be assured of a crazy pace. But then you got Little Blossom with Wesley Henry aboard. There should be a pace, and I think Queen Militant will get the benefit of a hot pace scenario. So Sean Savici obviously replacing Ryan Pacheco, who's on a one-day riding suspension. But Queen Militant for me. I put Cape Away in for second. I agree. The blinkers off probably will help.
Gets back to Hamill.
And I put the 4, Cassidy Command. I mean, not much. Those are your horses. I went 6, 7, and 4 in the third. On to the fourth race, $16,000 older horses, non-2, non-3 BC bred lifetime, going 6.5 furlongs. And I ended up on the 7, Wonder World, taking the big class drop. Probably not his best distance, but I just think at this caliber, he's still going to win anyways. I think there could be a pace duel developing in here. Spirit River has speed. I'm sure Samilkameen Luke, even though the blinkers are coming off, will likely be up there prominent. DJ Snow will be prominent. And the one going back in blinkers, Majestic Mark. Don't be surprised if you see this horse showing a lot more speed, and this horse shows a good fast work in a minute flat. So I just see a good pace. Wonderworld to win it for me. I put DJ Snow. If I'm going to take anyone out of the strangely arousing race, I'm taking DJ Snow. This horse took the worst of the trip in that race. He's the one I want out of the strangely arousing race, nobody else. And I put the one Majestic Mark in for third. I'm going to give this horse a shot. He's got a bit of back class. He's got a long list of long defeats, though. But I like going back in blinkers. His best races were in blinkers, and I like the work. And maybe just the subtle changes. Maybe we'll get more out of Majestic Mark. And I like Mark Buchanan riding as well. The Mark and Mark combo. Let's go 7-3-1.
I agree with Wonderworld. You look at the race he was running this year, very tough. 5 lengths behind Brass and Gold, only beat 2 by Launder Money and finally Diamonds. And then, got beat almost 10 lengths last time. But that was against Modern, classic.
The best horses on the ground. Best horse in the Northwest. Modern's one of the best horses in the Northwest.
Absolutely.
He's a nice.
And now you drop into a 16 conditional claimer. I think it's Modern's race to lose. I put Irish Romeo in the second spot. That's another one that was out of that strangely arousing race. Only got beat a neck. Closed a lot of ground late. And I like the fact Reyes sticks with him again. And Pat Jarvis definitely due for some luck. I put Irish Romeo in the second spot. In the third spot, I put Spirit River. He could get caught up in a pace scenario, but he's near the outside. Hamill knows this horse well. And 2 big efforts his last, actually, every race he's ran this year, he's improved. He's been very game. And if they leave him alone, he could be gone. I just didn't want to leave him off the ticket. I went 7, 2, and 6. In the fourth. On to the fifth, a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds and up, going 6.5 furlongs. Another one, you can make a lot of cases for horses in here. I went to the 8 Crackdown out of the Troy Taylor barn, a very well-bred son of Scat Daddy out of a Gilded Time mare. They paid $70,000 for him in Keeneland 2 years ago. Been working well. He had a nice 59 work on the 15th of May in Emerald. Then he went to Pegasus for a quick stint, and now he showed up here. Nice 48-4, just a nice easy one. He's fit enough. He doesn't need to get too much out of it, and I know David Lopez was very high on him, so I'm going to put Crackdown in the top spot. The second spot, I put the odds are good. I keep picking this horse, and he keeps running second. 3 second-place finishes in all 3 starts this year. Behind nice horses, Brother Duster, Peace Arch, and Creus is the one, running last time, second to Creus,
last week,
who come back and won a nice race last week. That's why I put the odds are good in second. And I put It's in Command, another one that comes out of that Creus race. I think that Creus is one of our nicer 3-year-olds here right now. I really like Creus, and the fact he only got beat 2.5 lengths by him makes me go to It's in Command. I went 8, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble here. I left Crackdown right out. I mean, usually the Pegasus horses need a start here, but we'll see. I mean, he's a Scat Daddy. Maybe he's a really nice colt. You'll have to watch him in the paddock and see how he does. But I went to the odds are good. I think this horse has been running good. Just keeps getting beat by pretty nice horses. And I put the 3-horse Windstrong, who I was really impressed with. This horse ran a huge
I thought that was a big race.
Missed the break badly.
I know. I had Windstrong in and then ended up leaving him out.
Yeah, he missed the break badly. Rushed up. Probably used 44 and change worth of horse to be on the lead, and still was battling. He just lost second late, and I thought it was a courageous performance. He doesn't run back too quick, so I knew that race probably would take a lot out of him. Nice to see at least there's 3 or 4 weeks in between races. He's had a couple of works, get himself built. He's a big, tall colt. I think he's got a nice future. I like him, and I put the 2-horse Captain Jones. I went 4-3-2. I think those are your horses in the 5th race, but of course, you definitely need the 8 Crackdown. Like I said, have a look at him in the paddock. He's probably pretty live, but I did go 4-3-2. One of the horses that had started. On to the 6th race, got some $4,000 non-winners at 2 Lifetime, going a mile of 16th. Ended up on the 7-horse 3-way trade. Gets back down for the 4,000. Tried the non-2-8 types and did not fare very well there. But I think most importantly, he gets to stretch out and go a mile and a tick. I think this field is within his scope. This race didn't come up super tough, so I like 3-way trade. I'm not going to give up on the 2 Stallman Pete. He got cooked with can't remember who on the sunny side. I think it was. They went 23-2, 46-3. I mean, just ridiculous fractions for cheap horses. And of course, he got beat a million lengths. But this horse is better than that. Give him another shot. And I put the 9 Wee Harry with Richard Hamill in the irons. I think this horse is pretty live as well. Just the one run last weekend, but they'll opt to send him long. Probably didn't take too much out of him, just making the one little run from off the pace to close up to be 4th behind Cowboy Commander, and he might be worth following as well. I went 7, 2, and 9.
I got the same horses, not a lot to add. 3-way trade on the stretch out, back in for 4. He does look tough. I put Wee Harry in the 2nd spot. Only got beat 3 lengths last time, and that was out of his condition. That was a non-3. Now he gets into a non-2, and I like the move to Hamill.
Good point.
And then I got Stallman Pete in the 3rd spot, as you mentioned, got smoked last time. The fact he got beat 46 lengths.
Nobody was giving in.
It doesn't
Buchanan and Alvarado are just absolutely.
It doesn't bother me he got beat 50 lengths because it was just too much for, especially a horse of this caliber. That's too much to ask, and I think he rebounds with a good one. I went 7, 9, and 2 in the 6th. On the 7th, Fillies and Mares, 16,000. There's another one, a 3-year-old, sorry. Not Fillies and Mares, straight 3-year-olds.
Straight 3s.
For 16,000. I went to the 3, 737 out of the Greg Tracy barn. This is the one that they decided to run in the stake last time, which I just think was too high for her. She broke her maiden in Alberta for 12. Then she went up to an allowance race. She won that, but then ran against, Quatracat and Finality's Charmer and Saffron. Very nice 3-year-old fillies. Now drops in for a price again. Gets Antonio Reyes, and I like 737 in here. In the 2nd spot, I put Daughter Derek out of the Mark Cloutier barn. I thought a nice little win over Xenia, who's a decent filly. For 12.5, and this is a reasonable next step for her, is a 16 non-2. So I got her in the 2nd spot, and I put the Tenant in the 3rd spot. Another one got beat 14 lengths last time. Pat obviously thought a fair bit of this filly last year. She's been beat pretty handily her last 2 races. Last year was in the Fantasy, which was a mess because there was a fallen horse. But this year, she laid fairly close, but that was against Meg Geary and Ambleside Park and Susan's Day, and those are just, much better fillies. I think maybe she rebounds getting in for a price. I didn't want to leave her off. I went 3, 4, and 2.
Yeah, I ended up on the 6 in here. I ended up on 4th in command.
I looked at her coming out of that bullet race.
Yeah,
for sure.
She ran against the boys first time out, and I thought she performed admirably against next out winner, actually two-time winner, Mighty Fraser against the Colts. Then she was off 5 weeks. Ran against Bullet and Wild Rose of Texas and Biscuit. That was a good salty race, and didn't run bad, didn't run good. Just was in mid-pack, and I just think she could be more of a force. I think Hamill can just get her out there and just go to the front, or at least be close near the lead. Yeah. But I'm going to give 4th in command a shot. Put the 4-horse Daughter Derrick in for second. Pretty game win over Xenia last time, and I thought she might be one that's got a little upside, and she might be able to improve. And I put the 3, 7, 37, who obviously deserves to be likely the favorite in here, in for third, but I can see her winning as well. I'll definitely have a few horses, and I didn't put the 2 in, but you make a great point on the Tenant. That was a tough race she was coming out of, and she's eligible to improve in this race too. But I did end up landing on 6, 4, and 3 in the Saturday, June the 20th finale. We'll have to do it for our analysis. Up next on screen will be a quick recap of our selections. Back in race number 1, I went with the 1. Fire Beauty, 1, 5, and 2. Race number 2, I went to the 3, Street Map, over the 1, Gandy, and the 2, I'm Big Trouble. Third race, went to the 6, likely favorite, Queen Militant on the class drop, 6, 7, 4 for me in the third race. In race number 4, I went to the 7, Wonder World, another class dropper, 7, 3, and 1. Race number 5, I went to the 3, Windstrong over the 4, the odds are good, and the 2, Captain Jones. In the 6th race, probably your best bet of the day, the 7, 3-way trade, 7, 2, 9 for me. And then the 7th and final, I went to the 6, 4th in command over the 4 and 3. Now on to Drew's picks.
In the first, I went to the 5, Flare Miss over the 1 and the 4. In the second, I went to the 6, Talkett's Charm on the jump over the 5 and the 1. In the third, I agree with Mike on Queen Militant, the 6-horse over the 4 and the 7. I'm with Mike again in the 4th race, number 7, Wonder World, another dropper over the 2 and the 6. In the 5th, I went to first-time starter, the Wellbred Crackdown over the 4 and the 5. In the 6th, I agree with Mike. As he mentioned, probably your best bet on the day, number 7, 3-way trade over the 9 and the 2. And the nightcap, the 7th, I went to the 3, 737 over the 4 and the 2.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. That'll do it for this edition of Handicappers Corner. Should be a lot of fun. First race goes at 1:50. 7 races on tap. Of course, we have 8 more races on the Sunday program. Once again, first post at 1:50. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.